There's a large Somalia community in the state of Minnesota. There's about 80,000 people. And unfortunately, that community has been running a number of welfare scams where they're actually stealing money from welfare programs, including Medicaid, over the last 4 to 5 years. It is estimated that over $1 billion have been stolen from these programs. I'll go through a couple of the Medicaid programs and tell you what happened. One of them was a housing stabilization program. Now you say, isn't Medicaid a joint federal state program for healthcare for indigent people or people on disabilities? Yes. What does that have to do with housing? Nothing. But they decided, let's get this housing program going. And it started out, they thought it was going to cost about $2.6 million a year. All of a sudden it went up to $104 million a year. But that wasn't enough. Then there was an autism treatment program. And that started out small and rose to almost $400 million a year. What was happening is in the Somalia community, they were recruiting children who didn't have autism, and then they weren't treating them, but they were getting paid, and then they were paying kickbacks to the parents. It was the craziest type of thing. Now, this is breaking many, many federal laws. You cannot provide kickbacks under the Medicaid or Medicare program, and this has been going on for about 4 years. A lot of this money was used to buy luxury goods, to buy real estate overseas. A lot of it allegedly was sent back to Somalia and maybe ending up in terrorist hands. So there's many, many concerns with this program. Number one, taxpayers are getting ripped off. Number two is the money's getting misappropriated potentially to terrorist organizations. Number three, it really destroys the credibility of the government when these things happen. And number four, which is the worst part of it, it takes money that we need for people who have medical issues, and it takes the money away from them. It steals from the people who have disabilities. It steals from indigent patients. And I think the other part of it that's really disturbing is that there's allegations that Tim Walz was at least looking the other way. Why is that? Well, the Somali community is a big Democratic voting bloc. He didn't want to irritate them, and he wants to run for governor again. This is what happens. So is Tim Walz corrupt? Was he in on this? Is he stupid? I don't know. But I do know this. When you're the governor, you have a responsibility to all people in your state, and you shouldn't allow rampant fraud. I know he has failed as the governor. I also know that the federal government needs to investigate this. They also need to look at other states. In fact, it was alleged that a gentleman who was running the fraudulent organization was using the money to build up a paramilitary organization in the south of Somalia, in a place called Jubaland. Now, this is just kind of crazy stuff that you can't even believe. So we have to really do is make sure that we're getting good value for our tax dollars and that we get care to those who need it. Let me know in the comments what you think.